I'm Dr. Shahin. Today I will discuss Matthew Arnold's Touchstone method of criticism. In the previous lecture, I talked about Matthew Arnold's theory of poetry. So Matthew Arnold discussed this method in his work, The Study of Poetry. Before it, I talk about Matthew Arnold's views on his age. Matthew Arnold, who belongs to the Victorian age, the reign of Queen Victoria, he talks about the situation of that period. It was an age when England was showing her future and reaping her past. In the first half of the 19th century, the grotesque and the painful suffering created by the French Revolution in the people's life came to an end. It was the age when the scientists challenged the concepts of God's will and biblical authority by their factual scientific discoveries. Superstitious beliefs, logic and arguments were interpreted by the scientists. Under the conflict between two rival forces, science and religion, people found themselves in a state of peculiar dilemma, as Matthew Arnold expressed this dilemma in his verse. Wandering between two walls, one dead and the other powerless to be born, with nowhere yet to rest my head. So he found that people during that age were found in a state of great dilemma, not knowing what to do and what not. Matthew Arnold declares that under the arrival of science, faith in religion is declining. Understand? So now I will talk about his Touchstone method. Matthew Arnold was a classicist and was influenced by classical masters like Homer, Sophocles, Theocritus, Milton, Dante, and other classical masters. Milton was his inspiration not merely for the blank verse he used in Sohrab and Rustam, but also in his sonnets. Understand? So Milton was inspiration for Matthew Arnold. Arnold's Touchstone method of criticism is a comparative analysis. It's a comparative system of criticism. Arnold believed that the ancient Greek, Roman, and French authors should be the models to be followed by the modern English authors. The old and great English authors like Shakespeare, Spenser, and Milton also should be taken as models for the modern English authors. So Matthew Arnold, while talking about the Touchstone method, he says that he took selected passages from the writings of modern authors and compared them with selected passages from the ancient authors and then judged and analyzed their merits. Understand? So what did he do about Touchstone method? Matthew Arnold took selected passages from the writings of modern authors and compared them with selected passages from the ancient authors and then judged those passages from the ancient authors and analyzed their merits. This method was called Arnold's Touchstone method. Understand? So what Arnold says, that this system of judgment has its own limitations. This method of comparing passages with passages is not a sufficient test for determining the value of a work as a whole. Arnold himself insisted that we must judge a poem by a total impression and not by its fragments. Understand? So, but we can further extend this method of comparison from passages to the poems as whole units. The comparative method is an invaluable add to appreciation in any kind of art. It is helpful not merely thus to compare the masterpiece and the lesser work, but the good with the not so good, the sincere with the not quite sincere, and so on. So those who don't agree with this theory of comparative and comparative criticism say that Arnold is too austere, too exacting in comparing a simple modern poet with the ancient master poet. It is not fair to expect that all hills may be Alps. The mass of current literature is much better disregarded. By this method, we can set apart the alive, the vital, the silence from the showy and the sincere. So, Touchstone method is also can be taken as a stone on which gold is rubbed to test its quality. Arnold regrets the great masters. Arnold regards the great masters of the past to be suitable touchstone to test the quality of the poems of the new generations. Thus, according to this method, Alexander Pope, Shelley, and Dryden fall short of the best because they lack high seriousness. And Arnold considers ideal poets, Homer and Sophocles, who were the great masters of the past. So, this is Arnold's touchstone method. Thanks for today.